What's up? Welcome in. Hoge Jahns back with you for one last preview show from the 22.
Oh, I thought we were here to wrap up the season. It's over.
Well, we kind of are. But there is a game being played Sunday. Welcome in Adam Hoge, Adam Jahns, and Kevin Fishbain. Coming off that just enormous win over Illinois last night for the Northwestern Kitty Cats. You should show everyone your shirt.
Says expect victory, which Adam Hoge did not last night when he texted me with about 4 minutes to go. And in Adam Hoge's defense, he had every reason to not expect victory.
Were you thinking the same thing as me?
Of course. I've been in that arena plenty of times when they're in this similar situation and lose the game. But it was nice to see a revenue team for Northwestern win a game, a big game.
That's well said.
Yeah.
And you do expect victory every time, right? With that shirt.
Yeah. I'm delusional.
He slept in that
nothing
shirt.
else.
Yeah, probably. Big win for Northwestern last night over Illinois. So, that's always nice. Unless you're an Illinois fan, I guess. But welcome in, and we are going to preview this Bears-Vikings game. Justin Fields not playing. We'll discuss kind of the fallout from all that, what we heard yesterday at House Hall. We also, I'll take the blame, sort of forgot to play the voicemails on Tuesday. We had a lot going on. It was a different type of show, obviously, and then we were concentrating on Kevin Warren. So I do have your voicemails from last week's game against the Lions, so we'll play those. And, I also want to point out right off the top, though, obvious shirts. Of course, you can always find our merch there, but they're doing, and I have one on right now, one of these Damar Hamlin shirts. Joe Johnson's just an awesome dude, and this happened last year with the JD shirts, which honestly over the last year have been.
I'm wearing one of those.
Yeah, you got the JD shirt on right now. So essentially, if you go buy one of these on obviousshirts.com, Obvious doesn't make any money off of it. It costs them money and time and effort to produce these shirts and print them. It's actually a big undertaking, and then all the money is going towards the toy drive GoFundMe that Damar Hamlin, we talked about the other day, started a couple years ago, that has just been flooded with donations this week. So once again, Joe Johnson coming through, and pretty cool to get these out as quickly as he did. And so if you want to support Damar as he's still fighting in the hospital, please go check that out at obviousshirts.com. All right. So news comes in yesterday. You guys were there. Justin Fields not going to play. This was sort of what I had a hunch on when Eberflus's tone changed Monday compared to Sunday when we were in Detroit. But yet he still was saying Monday that if he's healthy, he would play. So that sort of set off alarm bells in my head that maybe Justin Fields came in Monday and wasn't healthy, or as healthy as he thought he was Sunday. And it turns out that's the case. He has this hip, which I know there's like conspiracy theories out there that like it's just completely made up. I don't think it's made up. They were clearly working on it on the sideline. Now, is it something he could play through if it was, if this game meant something? Maybe. But I don't certainly
knowing him, probably.
Yeah, probably. But I don't fault the Bears at all for resting him, and draft aside, draft implications aside, even if this was like a few weeks ago with the shoulder, I still think he probably could have played through that too if it was like a playoff game or something like that. So I don't fault the Bears at all. I think it makes a lot of sense. And that being said, I still don't think it's ideal. I came under fire on Twitter for this. I don't think it's ideal for anybody to be dealing with a hip injury, let alone your quarterback. Hip injuries can be tricky, something that lingers, down the road.
My first reaction was good. He's given you enough. He has. I thought he should have been removed at halftime of the Lions game, or at least in the third quarter. We talked about that in the last podcast. To me, those snaps in that second half had little to no value when the Lions had backups in and they're playing prevent and they know you're passing. Forget it. It's over. That's history. But he's given you enough. He's got shoulder problems. He's got hip problems. His foot got stepped on and was bleeding against the Buffalo Bills. He's got some things going on. The last thing you need is more things going on, or those things that are going on getting worse. Sit him, rest him. It's the right call by the Bears.
Yeah, and I think we've all gotten to know Justin Fields enough to know that he would have loved an opportunity to end his season differently. Like, I don't think he's probably happy about the last game of his season being what happened in Detroit when he threw for 75 yards and completed 7 passes against a pretty bad pass defense. So I think we all know him well enough to know that he would want to play if he could. He's also smart enough, and he said this with the shoulder, that he's not going to go out and make it worse either. We see this all around the league, guys. Like, I mean, if they were going for the 7th pick, I think the same thing would have happened. As long as this game didn't have playoff implications, it would do. And I'll say this to all the people who filled up our mentions with gifs of tanks, right? And I wrote this yesterday and said this to John's like 17 times. The Bears have lost 8 in a row with Justin Fields as their starting quarterback. It's not like if he was playing, it's a guaranteed victory. I mean, I know the point spread changed. I'm not saying Nathan Peterman is anywhere close to Justin Fields in terms of playmaking or
You just said he was
quarterbacking or
good, didn't
anything.
he? He's saying he's good.
No, like this is a massive downgrade. Like I get that, but let's not pretend that suddenly, like the Bears were going to win something they haven't done since before Halloween.
Thank you.
Justin Fields had two of the greatest games for a quarterback running the ball in the history of the league, back to back at home, and the Bears lost both those games.
Yeah.
So like they've found plenty of ways to lose, even when he's played really, really well. So like this is a huge difference. This makes it almost certain they're probably going to lose. But let's not say here and say that they made this move so that they could lose, because they've done a pretty good job of that over the past couple
If you're going to use that tank word, I think it applies to the defense, because you wanted Justin Fields to play this year to develop. But on defense, you traded Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, right? You traded Roquan Smith, which was like the biggest sign of like, hey, this is about next year and beyond. This isn't about this year. And then you put Jack Sanborn, Jalen Johnson on IR when they had injuries. If you ask them, they probably could have played through in a week or two. Instead, they've been on IR for a few weeks now. So all the talent on defense isn't there, and you get the defense you're getting. But if you're going to use the tank word, I think that applies more to the defense.
I think I said this last week, but do you know how hard it is now that it's 9 games in a row? Do you know how hard it is to lose 9 games in a row when your quarterback's playing relatively well? I mean, that's not how this league works. Most games when we're like on the fence between two teams, you go with the better quarterback because that's usually how it plays out. Quarterback plays well, team wins. 9 games in a row with your quarterback playing well this past week was really the first exception to that, in my opinion. That's really hard to do. That's why I don't understand why, to your point, Kevin, last week, it blew my mind that people thought that the Bears could actually win that game. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. Even if the offense put up more points, they can't stop anybody on defense. I feel the same way about this week too. Even if it's a game where for some reason the Vikings take the foot off the gas in the second half because, they do need to win the game. The way the NFL schedule set this up, we'll get into more of this when we talk more about the Vikings, but the way the schedule set up, if they were playing at the same time as the 49ers, then you could do a little bit of scoreboard watching. The 49ers playing the Cardinals. If it's 21-0 in the first quarter, all of a sudden the Vikings probably pull some guys out and you wouldn't blame them. But the fact that they got to play the whole game and not know what's going on with the 49ers, I think that actually works to the Bears' advantage in terms of getting the number 1 pick. Again, not that I think it's an issue anyway. Like the Vikings backups probably win this game, especially now that the quarterback's out. Simple question. Was year 2 for Justin Fields a success?
I think yes. I don't see. They have the worst passing offense in the league. I understand that. Looking at him individually, his passer rating went up though. Looking at him individually, his QBR went up though. I think using him as a runner more or encouraging him to scramble more, which starts with Mandy Eberflus, has completely changed the conversation about him. He's a dynamic player. And I think he has potential to get better as a passer. I think some things just what they were is in terms of the passing offense. Bad offensive line, receivers who had a lot of drops, receivers who couldn't get open, new offensive coordinator, knew a lot of things for the Bears offense. But I think it's hard to argue otherwise. I do think year 2 was a successful one, at least individually for Justin Fields.
Yeah, I'll say it was. You saw that spurt in the middle of the season that showed you can score a lot of points with this guy as your quarterback, even with less talent, with middling talent around him. So that kind of sets the stage for the offseason where you can kind of build around that. Like, what makes Justin Fields successful. You know how to make the offense go. Now you got to find him better players at pretty much every position. I think this is a little bit. I think as the end of the season went, it reminded me a little bit more of Miami's situation with Tua last year, where, like, for example, if Justin Fields, if this was his 3rd year, I don't think are any of us talking about the Bears giving him a massive contract in 2 weeks?
No.
I don't. I'm not sure. Like,
They
it
don't have to
would
make
probably
that
be.
decision after next year.
But,
Well, no,
but I like the hypothetical. It's if this was year 3.
Yeah.
In the better question is, are they picking up the 5th year option? Right? Wouldn't that be the question that we'd be talking about going into the offseason?
Yeah, and it'd be like, because if he was like, you didn't get that answer, right? And they didn't need it because it's only year 2. But I'm just saying, like, that's why I kind of make the Tua comparison, where I'm not sure if Miami really knew what they had in him, and then they went out and we saw what they did this offseason, and we saw how well he's played for most of the year. Obviously, he's struggled lately in the concussions, but like, I just bring that up as a, like, if Justin Fields had a contract situation, the Bears are totally being like, wait, let's hold off. We like you a lot, we think, but we're not giving you the big contract yet. We got to see like one more year. They don't have to worry about that decision. That's why it was successful, but I don't think it was. And I don't think it was possible probably to reach that level of success because of what's around him either.
Yeah, that's a tricky question.
I look at it. Well, it wasn't his 3rd season. It was his 2nd.
Yeah.
First with Matty Eberflus, first with Luke Getsy. He barely played with Chase Claypool, a guy who was acquired to help be that number 1 wide receiver. Darnell Mooney got hurt, right? Khalil Herbert got hurt for a portion of the season. The entire offensive line battled injuries throughout the duration of the season. There was never any chemistry up front. Never. Even the feel-good story, Tevin Jenkins, he's on injured reserve right now. There was just way too many moving pieces, too many other storylines going on offensively for really any consistency to emerge. I think the only consistent thing that emerged was Justin Fields giving you almost everything he got every single week.
Yeah.
Running the ball, throwing the ball when he needed to. Here, can I give you an advanced stat real quick? I think that the Detroit game, shut up, Mike Glennon. I think he's back in the league.
That's NFL quarterback Mike Glenn. You better show him some respect.
Yes. What team? I forget. Jets? Panthers.
Dolphins.
Oh, that's right. Speaking of Tua. I think that week 17, the game in Detroit, was a bit of an outlier. It just felt different because I don't think he looked right, to be honest. I said that to you off the air on Sunday night.
Can I know you're going to give us a stat. On that point, though, Corey Wooten seemed to think body language-wise, too. And I think you're both onto something, and I don't really know why, and maybe it's because he wasn't feeling right, but there was just including the time where he ran out of bounds for the 3-yard sack when it could have been 4th and 2, or 4th and goal from the 2. It just seemed like there were a few plays in that game where he didn't really have any interest in even trying to find somebody open and just went out of bounds. And that was, I think, did you just use the word outlier? Like, I agree. I don't know really what was going on. Something was different even in the effort's not the right word, and I'm not accusing it to be an effort issue. Just, I don't know, like intensity. Maybe the I in the hits principle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, they were down so big.
But this was even early. That's like the second
half.
series of the game.
I think the hip led to some frustration for him.
Maybe
Like,
that's what it is. Maybe just being frustrated.
Oh, man, like I got to battle through another injury because that's when the running decreased, right? Anyway, from weeks 7 to 16, this is from NFL Faster, right? This is like expected points added, and all that stuff, right? So from week 7 to 16, NFL Faster, their composite, their expected points added. There you go, Adam. Expected points added, completion over expectation composite. Very advanced stats, right? Had Fields as the 7th best quarterback among qualified quarterbacks from week 7 to 16, just in terms of what he was providing the Bears offense in terms of points.
Yeah.
And completion percentage. Just the thought there.
You know what's another way that's not nearly as scientific or probably as important to quantify that? He became like the best fantasy quarterback there for a minute. Like he was outscoring Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He was this week, if going into week 17 on ESPN's quarterback rankings, he was listed as number 1. I mean, that's not nearly as scientific as what you just brought up, but it shows you the dude is putting points on the scoreboard, which at the end of the day is ultimately what matters. That's what you're trying to do, right? Score.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's where I think fantasy football is actually indicative of how guys play. If you're scoring points, you're doing something right. You're helping your team win. And Fields. So to answer the original question, yes, this was a successful season. Before I go back and adjust my grades, he graded out as a long-term starter when all's said and done. So to answer your question, Kevin, if it's the end of year 3 and I have to decide on a 5th-year option, my grades say he's a long-term starter. He might not be elite yet. He might not be, give him a $200 million fully guaranteed contract guy, but I sure as hell am picking up his 5th-year option because he's a long-term starter.
And he showed you enough to make you want to keep him, and you want to see like what he does with better receivers and a better offensive line and a better defense. It's going to put him in better situations. And John's going back to that week 17 to week 16 range. Maybe a simpler number, I guess, is his completion percentage was 67, which is about like 9 points higher than it was for all of last year, 7 points higher than what this full season was in that range. Because like I think that's something that you really wanted to see improve, and you saw it. I mean, he was, as long as he's not throwing horizontal to the flat, like I think he was able to make more layups in that stretch than we had seen him make earlier in the season and certainly last year, and that's something they have to keep building on because we all know he can throw the deep ball. But that's what I wanted to see was, is he going to hit those slants? Is he going to hit some of those out patterns? And I think he did that at a much higher rate than he had.
I'll give you the stats. He completed 67% of his passes. That's 122 for 182 for nearly 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for a 98.2 passer rating. He averaged 7.1 yards per attempt. And in that time frame, that's weeks 7 to 16, he ran for 729 yards and 7 scores and 96 carries.
What else? Go ahead. I'm listening.
That's a lot.
Yes. I think what started to stick out to me, and I wrote about this last week, is what players, current and former, started to say about him. Like it was more, and it wasn't just like us asking players about it. It was them on like their own podcast, bringing him up just because they were that impressed. Like Darius Slay, Von Miller, right? It's guys going on Pat McAfee's show. There was just so much of it. That resonates. Like he's doing things that say he's special, and it's not us saying it. It's not the stats saying it. It's players who actually play the game saying it, going out of their way to say it. And it was more and more and more as the season went on.
You know what also sticks with me? I guess he's technically a former player. When we had JT O'Sullivan on, like at this point, that must have been a month and a half ago. And he, how many games were left in the season? 6, 7 still? And he was like, guys, this season's already a win for you.
Yeah.
It's a win. And like, so that sort of changes the original question too. Was year 2 a success for Fields? I think it's a little bit more nuanced. Was this year a success for the Bears? Because I don't know that they got as many answers as they really wanted to on the rest of the roster. But at the end of the day, you go back to all the things we talked about in the summer. Number one priority was the development of Justin Fields. And given all the problems around him, if we're still sitting here saying it was a success for Fields, then it was a success for the Bears. Especially if they somehow end up with the number 1 pick on Sunday.
And one other advanced stat to throw at you guys. Since Trevor Siemian went on IR, the Bears have failed to score more than 20 points. So I think that shows you what he meant to Fields, having him as the number 2, having his guidance there. Like that, that's kind of where the offense started to fall off, was when you lost having that kind of that mentor figure, if you will, and knowing that he's the guy right there, one snap away. Once he went on
probably
IR,
not.
offense fell apart.
Yeah, okay.
Those are just stats. I mean,
I still saw Trevor in the locker room last week with his crazy wavy hair. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah.
He's got twins now. I think they just, as you guys know, there's no time to do anything with your hair when you got babies running around.
You live with coffee.
And you wear hats. That's what I do.
I don't wear hats.
I have a baby running around still.
More coffee.
Yeah. I don't have coffee in front of me right now. I should. Hey, quick update. Speaking of Damar Hamlin off the top of the show, some really good news coming out right now while we're recording. This from the Buffalo Bills. Per the physicians caring for Damar Hamlin at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, Damar has shown remarkable improvement over the past 24 hours. While still critically ill, he has demonstrated that he appears to be neurologically intact.
Wow.
His lungs continue to heal, and he is making steady progress. We are grateful for the love and support we have received.
It's awesome.
Wow.
It's absolutely awesome.
And then Rappaport also had this update. Said Damar Hamlin opened his eyes last night and is responsive. Truly incredible. One thing that's very clear from speaking to those close to him, they are endlessly appreciative of the medical care given to Hamlin on the field immediately and then over the last 72 hours. So
It's amazing.
Yeah, let's hope that continues to go that route. I mean, especially if neurologically he's intact, that's great. And then I know his uncle mentioned the lungs too, so we don't know what kind of damage that is, but sometimes CPR can, cause physical damage to the ribs and lungs like that. So that's probably
you could break ribs.
Yeah. Actually, I think you're supposed to break ribs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I say something before we get to the voicemails?
Sure.
It was amazing to see Hub Arkish at Hallis Hall yesterday, like giving him the applause as he moved from the last row of the media room to the front room, to see him embrace Matt Eberflus, to see him actually. The moment that I felt was just like powerful was when, speaking of like CPR and life-saving moments, like quick action, when John Tarpey, the Bears director of security, came down and gave Hub his pass back. Tarpey is the one who saved Hub's life. To see them embrace in the media room, that was special. It was good to have Hub back. It was great to hear him like talking shop too. Like he wasted no time.
So
tearing into this team, that felt very therapeutic and great.
It probably is for him, which is good. I first of all, I just love that Tarpey still has had his pass the whole time.
Yeah,
and
I love his line. Hey man, you dropped this.
You dropped. I mean, that's great. That's awesome. And then I gotta say, I was, I wanted to hear Hub start grilling Flus a little bit in the presser. I mean, he could have. It's the one day where he could have asked any question and no one could have gotten mad at him, no matter what.
No, come on, fire.
Come on, Hub.
It's great to see him.
What if Hub was just like, really? Justin doesn't have an injury. Come on, Flus. I mean, that would have been, even if it was a bit, it would have been hilarious.
Would have been gold.
It would have been great. So I'm really bummed I missed that yesterday. But I just seeing all your guys' tweets and even some of that was actually on the presser. Like if you go back and watch it on Twitter, You could
Really? Okay. Well,
like
check that out.
when you guys were trying to figure out where to sit. I think you guys were trying to get Hub to sit in the front or something. Like you could see all that happening on the stream.
And then the applause.
And then it cut out briefly when Flus got up to it. Where I think that's the point he gave him a hug. I'm assuming. So
people might not believe me if you've listened to Hub on the radio over the last 40 years. He doesn't really love attention. Like I know it kind of. I mean, and certainly that's what happened to him is not the type of thing you want attention for either. So like when he came in, it was very humble and just wanting to say hi to everybody, and he didn't want to move up to the front row. That is kind of Hub. And it was very special. It was a special day, and when the medical emergency happened, that was very scary and scariest for him and his family. And it was great to see Arthur, Hub's son, who we've all worked with, and so that was a really uplifting moment to have Hub in there. And then 2 minutes later, we found out Nathan Peterman starting the final game of the Bears season.
Welcome back.
Back to reality.
Welcome back to the Beat Hub. You got to watch Nathan Peterman on Sunday.
You missed Justin's entire season, unfortunately. No, he was actually watching a lot of those games. I was talking to Arthur a few weeks ago about some of their experience watching the games this year, which is probably, which was probably therapeutic for them as well. So anyway, it's great to having Hub back. I'm glad you brought that up, Johns. Hey, here's a question you might want to think about. How long have you had your mattress? And how has your sleep improved? Well, Helix Sleep is a premium mattress brand that provides tailored mattresses based on your unique sleep preferences. The Helix lineup includes 14 unique mattresses, including a collection of luxury models, a mattress for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. So how will you know which mattress works best for you and your body? Take the Helix Sleep quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. That's what I did. I took the Helix Sleep quiz and I was matched with the Dusk model, which is a little bit firmer, but not all the way to the firm side. And it's been perfect for myself, my wife. We absolutely love it. Not only is it the mattress that I have best slept on, but the setup was fast and easy and honestly fun. The mattresses are delivered in a box straight to your door for free. And you open up the box, the thing essentially inflates right in front of you, just folds right out, comes right out of the box. You put it down and it's comfortable right away. Don't want to take my word for it. Helix has been awarded the #1 mattress picked by GQ and Wired magazine. It is even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. And right now, Helix is offering up to $350 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/Adams. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. helixsleep.com/Adams. With Helix, better sleep starts now.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Is it checking up on your credit score? Didn't think so. At Chime, it's exactly what they do. With your secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, you can start to build credit with your own money. Chime reports your payments to credit bureaus to help you build your credit over time. Their members see an increase of 30 points on average. All of this with no annual fees, large security deposits, or credit checks to apply. So start your credit journey with Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/Adams. That's chime.com/Adams. One more time, that's chime.com/Adams. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank North America pursuant to a licensed Visa USA Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply the secure Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive impact on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some user scores may not improve. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply except at MoneyPass ATMs in a 7-Eleven or any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM.
Hey, whether you want to get more fit, be a better parent, or get more done at work, there is one thing that will help, and that's better sleep. With Miracle Made sheets, you can tap into the power of self cooling temperature regulation, which has been shown to improve sleep quality by up to 34%. Using silver-infused fabrics originally developed by NASA, Miracle-Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with natural silver that prevent 99.9% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. So here's what you're going to do. Go to trymiracle.com/Adam to try it today. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Save over 40% and be sure to use our promo code ADAM at checkout to save even more and get 3 free towels. And Miracle is so confident in their product, it is back with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Adam and use the code ADAM to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Adam to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. We have voicemails to play from Sunday's game, which is not nearly as serious of a topic or a segment, but we forgot to play them Tuesday, and can't wait to hear what these are all about. So your voicemails from that ugly Bears-Lions game in Detroit.
Hello?
Do you know who this is?
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
The Hoge Jahns voicemail. The Hoge Jahns voicemail line.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
Got any questions or comments about the Bears? Give the guys a call before, after, or even during the game.
Go Bears!
Boys, me and Colton have been on a journey. Since last year, I've been on all the time to score a touchdown. Didn't do it last year for me. This year, couldn't do it this year. I was like, I can't do it. He burned me last year. It's my first game back. Thanks a lot to the league, boys. How has the offensive line gotten worse every week, it feels like? 4 sacks in the first half already, guys. Jeez, what else do you want Justin to do? Block for himself?
Happy New Year, you filthy animals. Oh, at least we'll have the rushing record, it seems. But everything else, oh my goodness. It looks like we're going to need all 5 new starters on the offensive line rather than just 3. Yeek.
John, what are we doing? It's 1:08 left in the second here. Bears are potentially about to be down 3 scores. 7-11 currently 21-10. Justin Fields being absolutely murdered today. The offensive line absolutely invisible today. No help anywhere. It just seems like a throwaway at this point. Let's just sit him and try and get out of this one. Bears down.
Hoge Jahns, Tom from San Antonio. Just saw one of the more impressive plays that I think I may have ever seen. 2 holding calls on the Chicago Bears, and they give up a sack. Both holding calls declined. Sack accepted. What a game. Bear down.
So it's currently 41-10. The Detroit Lions are definitely not being the Detroit Lions. So I just have a question for Hoge Jahns. Is Alan Williams bad?
Well, that game fucking sucked. Fields needs to learn what NFL open is, man. Way too many missed wide open receivers or receivers coming open, but he can run the ball really well. Bear down.
Kind of hard to get worked up about anything with the Bears at this point in the season. So the thing that I'm choosing to get worked up over is that Johns had a little girl and didn't name her Hogan. Thus, we could have had Hoge Jahns. Very upsetting, Adam. That's a major, major drop. Bear down.
Hoge Jahns. Happy New Year's, guys. It's 3 a.m. on the West Coast. Just woke up from a nightmare where the Bears lost to the Lions 38-10. Oh, wait, that really happened. Felt like a nightmare. Anyway, just wanted to kick the new year off on a positive note. We'll just say that with $130 million in cap space, another season of experience under Justin Fields' Superman cape, and a guaranteed top 4 pick in the draft, the future's bright. Have a brewski on me, boys. Bear down.
Hey, Bears fans, B-Man here. We still got that second pick, but my goodness, we have to get Justin some help. Bear down!
How's it, Cat? John Babe, it's Bob the Brock here again, calling in from a jacuzzi of the finest motor oil in Detroit City. The Bears lost. The quarterback checked himself out mentally of this game, and so I am also pretty mentally checked out, taking a cue from quarterback one, our savior, Justin Fields. But the important thing here is that the Bears have a stranglehold on the number 2 position in the draft, and they could potentially move up to the number 1 if the Colts lose to the Texans next week, which is certainly a possibility given how trash the Colts are, but the Texans are trash too. Next year, 5 Super Bowls, Chicago Bears, bear down, offseason, huge offseason. Let's go Bears!
I agree. Missed opportunity there by you, Johns. Hoge Jahns.
Missed something.
That would have been good.
Fine. No. Where's the mic? Hit the Mike Lennon drop for me.
No.
Okay.
I wore you guys' winter hat in public the other day.
You did?
Yeah.
I did.
It's very cozy and comfy.
It's a great hat. Nobody commented on it, though.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Well, they're lost.
Next time.
I guess. You did name one of your kids after Martellus Bennett, so I don't think
is true.
It's not that crazy.
That is true.
Just saying. All right. Let's talk about this game, I guess.
Three big questions.
Yeah.
It's actually not about the game at all.
I was going to say, I don't even know if these questions are going to have to do with the game. That's why I said it that way. But I want to add one too, if we could circle back to it, because we had Keaton on Twitter asked if we could discuss a couple players.
I saw that. Make it number 3. Make it number 3.
Okay.
All right. Make it number 3. We'll take out that one.
Okay.
All right. Number 1. You guys are Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham. You can only acquire one elite player via trade or free agency.
Okay.
What position are you choosing? 3 technique, a left tackle, or a wide receiver? What's your pick? You can only acquire one via trade because obviously it's going to cost a lot. Compensation and contract, or free agency contract. What's your pick?
Can it be a defensive end?
No.
Nope. That wasn't the question. I'm going to say, oh man, I'm going to flip flop on this question 17 times between now and free agency. I'm just going to warn you. But today, I'm going to say wide receiver.
Via trade?
Well, you didn't specify that. I don't know if I guess it's going to have to be via trade.
I thought you said it was via trade. That was the question.
Trade or free agency.
Oh, okay.
Pay attention, Fish.
And not a defensive end. I mean, this is without knowing who's really available based on this question, but I guess here's the thing. Even if there is a great wide receiver available, like early second round, I mean, I think you're seeing this even with George Pickens in Pittsburgh. Like, he's a good player. He's a promising player, but he's not giving you a ton of production as a rookie. Like, it almost always takes a year to get going. Justin Jefferson was the most extreme outlier on that for the most part, where I think he put up 1,400 yards as a rookie. Like, that doesn't really happen. So I feel like you have to go the other route if you're trying to get instant impact for Justin Fields in a crucial year 3. Whereas I feel like it's more likely you can draft a tackle and get him in there. And the reason I'm not saying 3 technique is because you could just draft Jalen Carter.
Yeah. I'm with you because I think, recent history has shown that you may not think a certain receiver is available till he's available. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs. These guys get moved.
Yeah.
They do. It's happened in recent years, and the Bears need to find out what that market is, who's really available. So I'm saying wide receiver as well.
I'm going to say 3 technique. And here's why.
Because the Bears are going to draft Bryce Young.
I am not. I was going to say wide receiver right away because I think you look around the league and you see what some of these top wideouts have done for their teams. I'm just not ready to say that would make such an impact on the passing game because I just don't know yet if, like, can a Justin Fields and amazing wide receiver X be this great connection? I don't know. Like, if Justin Fields is in the Lamar Jackson category of quarterback, like what great receivers have come through Baltimore, and like what has Lamar Jackson done for those guys? Like for me, I look at what this offense looked like when it was at its best, and I look at what was a problem for the team, and it was defense. And if I know what Justin Fields can do, and I think, well, if you have that great 3 technique and you're starting to give up less points a game, you're creating more turnovers, you put Fields in better situations. And I think that's more of a given. I know a great 3 technique, this defense could be a lot better. I don't know 100% that with a great receiver, that great receiver can come here to Chicago and go off for 1,500 yards. I just haven't seen enough from Fields as a passer to know that he would get the most out of that guy.
Are you saying
that might be harsh?
Are you about to quote a certain former receiver?
No.
Okay.
Do it. All right, next question.
Hold on. Lost the doc.
What else? Go ahead. I'm listening.
Number 2. Rank these 5 players, 1 through 5, 5 being the most confident you have in them, in what they've shown this season. So rate your confidence in these players. 5 being the most confidence you have in these players. Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Jack Sanborn, Tevin Jenkins, Dominique Robinson.
Ooh. Can multiple players be like a 2?
Why are you always trying to change the rules?
Yes, right. Man.
Can you type these guys in the chat so I can see them?
Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Jack Sanborn, Tevin Jenkins, Dominique Robinson.
I believe you do have access to our show document.
I'm gonna go. I'll give you mine.
Okay.
All right. It's Sanborn 1. All right. Sorry. 5. So 5 is the highest. Sorry. 5 is the highest. So 5 is Brisker. So 5 is Sanborn. 4 is Brisker. 3 is Jenkins. 2 is Robinson. 1 is Gordon.
Whoa.
I'm so confused at what you just did.
5 is good.
Wait,
5 is good? What? Well, you just said rank them. You didn't say do it on a scale from 1 to 5.
All right.
Is this a scale question or are we ranking them?
Rank them. Rank your confidence in these players. Right.
Number
so
1 is the best.
Sanborn 1, Brisker 2, Jenkins 3, Robinson 4, Gordon 5.
This is your confidence in their long-term potential, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Robinson I typed this up at like 10 p.m. last night.
Yeah.
Before bottles.
See, this is kind of where maybe I've been critical, but I agree with you. Sanborn's number 1 based on what we've seen.
It's a matter of expectation too. Like Sanborn was a surprising instant success. Brisker was the 39th overall pick with high expectation. He didn't deliver in those expectations. Kev, you have a stat on this. Whatever chart you pulled up yesterday.
Oh, Kyler Gordon.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a chart about it was expected completions versus incomplete passes forced when you're targeted, and Kyler Gordon was the anomaly in the bad quadrant. I would still put Brisker 1 because I just don't know I'm not sure what Jack Sanborn's ceiling is as a Mike linebacker. He might be just a totally solid, dependable player for several years. I think Jaquan Brisker still has these skills to be a Pro Bowler. I know, if we're grading on a curve, I get that, undrafted, but I still put much higher confidence in Brisker being a 10-year starter for this team than Sanborn. So I go Sanborn, Brisker, and then I would go Brisker, Sanborn. I'd still put Gordon 3 because there's some skill level there. And then Jenkins and Robinson. Yeah, sometimes I feel bad for Dominique Robinson. The guy was a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
Like we should always like remember that. But he hasn't had a sack since week 1.
And I'm not saying I don't have some confidence in Kyler Gordon. It was just a couple weeks ago where I was impressed against the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the past 2 games, I think, have been, well, let's call it problematic.
Yeah.
Where he looked like a rookie. Maybe he hit that rookie wall and fell over it a bit, and he's tripping up or something.
Yeah, I think Brisker kind of did it too, though. Here's what I would say about what you said about Sanborn, though. Like, let's say what we've already seen from him is his ceiling.
Which is fine, right?
I think that's a 10-year starter. He was playing that well.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
that's
he
how,
was.
I mean, he was clearly, like, I think the question is, can he keep that up? But even if that ends up being his ceiling and he can keep that going, I that's why I have him number 1. This might be shocking, you guys. I think I put Gordon 2. The guy has shown an ability to get his hands on the football. 3 interceptions this season. I think that number can go up once he gets more experience. I agree that he's kind of fallen off a little bit recently, but especially on Sunday. But
and I'm willing to admit that, like, recency bias, like seeing St. Brown have his way with him, fresh in my memory.
Well, and here's why I actually put Gordon ahead of Brisker, which might be surprising to some. And I don't think I would have imagined doing that before the season began. But with Gordon and what we've seen from him, while it's been definitely up and down and inconsistent, I feel like a better pass rush in front of him is going to lead to even more opportunities to get his hands on the football and make game-changing plays. And probably for Brisker, too, at some point. The thing that concerns me about Brisker is the amount of times this season that he has been caught with his eyes in the wrong spot or out of position or the complete whiff of a tackle on Sunday. Like, I still like him as a player, but that's the kind of stuff that Sanborn's already shown you he just sort of instinctually has figured out. He just sort of knows where to go. And while certainly there are some examples of Sanborn getting faked out 2 on a play action or something like that, I worry that with Brisker, it was happening earlier in the season and it's still happening late in the season. And there's just a part of me that wonders, like, is that just not going to be one of his strengths? And being a strong safety, it kind of has to be one of your strengths. Now, I still think his floor is good starter for Bears eventually, but I'm starting to wonder, when we had all these high expectations, like, is he going to be the next great safety? I'm a little worried about it. I'm not giving up on him. I'm a little bit worried about it. I still do have those 2 players ahead of Tevin Jenkins, which kind of sucks because if it's just on how they played this year alone, Jenkins is probably number 1. But now you got the back, you got the hip, you got the neck. One of the hardest questions Ryan Poles has this offseason is how much he can count on Tevin Jenkins going forward, just from a health standpoint. And then I have Dominique Robinson last.
Is Trenton Gill the best draft pick from the 2022 draft?
Maybe you're starting left tackle.
Yeah, maybe.
Hi, what do you got for number 3?
Yeah, this is from Keaton Kane on Twitter. You guys should discuss a few players you guys want to see play in Week 18 to get a look at what they have. Mine are Sterling Weatherford and Jatiri Carter.
Isn't Carter hurt?
He was back full go yesterday on the injury report, but he was dealing with a back injury too. I don't think this is going to happen based on how they've handled him, but I would still like to see Alex Leatherwood play guard this week. Why the hell not? But
I want to see more of Velus Jones Jr. in some offensive capacity.
Did anyone else have a problem with that Sunday? He comes off his best game and they didn't use him. What the hell was that?
He got 1 touch, he went for 13 yards. It was like one of the biggest plays of the game, and then he just was never saw the
Treston
field.
Ebner's back there returning punts. Why?
I don't get why they're not giving him a shot on punt return again. Like, why? Yeah, I'm with you, Hoge.
If you're going to listen to what Richard Hightower says, and he's been working on it, and he's been showing progress in practice, then why does he not? Either you're lying about that, or your decisions don't make sense. I don't get it.
This is a perfect game to put him at punt returner. Get him some needed reps.
Why not?
Yeah, punt returner, put him at wide receiver, have him run a bunch of routes. I don't.
What's the worst that can happen? He muffs one, and then you have a better chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. Yeah. Come on.
I'm trying to think of a really random. How about here's a really random name. Ready for this one? Kellen Deesh.
The center?
Bear or not a Bear?
Practice squad tackle. He's been in the practice squad all year. Rookie. One of those guys with like incredible athletic grades from the combine. Throw him at tackle. See what he can do.
Yeah. I'm with Adam and
But Bayless is
Leatherwood. Like, see what he could do.
Even if you're not happy with him, like whatever it is, whatever's going on there,
try
like,
to be happy with
get
him.
some tape on him.
Yes.
Even if it goes poorly, who cares?
You're paying him a lot. Pay him to play.
And if Fields was back there, I wouldn't be saying this, but it's okay. Peterman will be fine. I actually like the Sterling Weatherford idea. That dude's been pretty good on special teams all year. Like, that was a find, I think. And if he's healthy, because he's been on the injury report too.
Yeah, he had an illness yesterday. I was surprised that they went to, like, I mean, Joe Thomas has been fine. Don't get me wrong, but I was a little surprising that they never gave Weatherford a shot at linebacker. He's just been solely. I think I said to John's one point, I wonder if he is this regime's Iggy, where he's just a special teams guy.
Which is fine, but even Iggy had some chances to get out there, linebacker.
Yeah,
from time to time when the injury struck. So, and wouldn't you want to evaluate that going into next year? Because that's turns into a situation where maybe you don't need to carry a veteran like Joe Thomas if your quote unquote special teamer can fill in at Sam in a pinch. We'll see. All right. We got to pick this up a little bit, huh?
Over-unders, real quick. This is from Pickles on Twitter. Mentions of the significance of the Texans game. I want this to include like breakaway highlights. He's got it at 5.5. I almost want to say like 6.5. So let's go with his at 5.5. I'm gonna go over 5.5. I'm going way over.
I'm going under because there's not going to be any highlights from that game.
Oh, different broadcast, right?
But like, what are you going to show?
He's just saying nobody's going to score.
Like, what are you going to show in that game? Both teams should try to lose that game.
It's in the Colts' best interest to lose. Why would they want to give the Texans
Saturday isn't here to lose?
But why would they want to give the Texans the number one pick? That'd be idiotic. It not only is in their division, but gives the Colts no shot at trading up then for the number one pick.
It's like the ultimate don't play game.
Yeah, I'll go under. There's nothing to say about that game.
That one's even more fascinating. Yeah, that one's more fascinating.
Oh, the broadcast is going to bring it up all the time.
Yeah, I think they'll mention it. But I just think they're not going to have score updates. It's going to be 0-0 to the fourth quarter.
I don't know, man. Tanking's kind of a sensitive issue after what happened with the Dolphins last year. They might get a mandate from the NFL not to talk about it too much.
Well, and that's what
I'm serious.
I was thinking about that too, because when we were talking about if the Bears would play in the afternoon, I was thinking, well, that's not going to be fun to not play at the same time as the Texans. But the league purposely would not want to put them together because they don't want any chicanery, if you will.
Chicanery. Like that song, "We Don't Talk About Bruno." We don't talk about tanking.
All right, this is from Ryan. Over under on showing Fields on the sideline. I'll set it at 3.5.
Yeah, over.
This is from Chris. Peterman total turnovers. 2.5. Total turnovers.
Over.
I'll say under because I feel like he'll hand it off 35 times.
Oh, that's a good point.
Jack. David Montgomery, Wildcat snaps. 4.5.
Ooh.
I'm going to say you get like 3 or 4, so under.
I'll say under, but I can't. That's interesting. I like that. Can I add one more?
Sure.
Tim Boyle snaps.
Ooh.
7.5.
Under.
I would say if you said it at a half, like, does he get a snap? Yes, he gets the kneel down at the end of the game.
Okay.
In other words, the Bears won or lost.
In other words, does Nathan Peterman get hurt at some point? I think is sort of the question.
You're putting Alex Leatherwood in front of him, so
I know. All right. I think that's all we got for that, right? All right.
Yep.
Bold predictions.
Nathan Peterman throws a touchdown pass to Cole Kmet.
Probably not.
No, I'm doing it. Cole Kmet. Sorry, Vic. Going back to the well here.
Make sure to apologize to Cole in the locker room later today, and might as well shut him down for week 18 too.
Actually, they probably should, but the good guy, JD Good Guy Award winner is probably going to play.
Yeah. All right. Well, we know Khalil Herbert is.
Yeah.
Because he's the honorary captain, and I think he's going to get a lot of work in this game. So I am going to say Khalil Herbert scores 2 touchdowns as the bold prediction. Those touchdowns.
Kevin, before you talk,
ends.
The boldest predictions you could actually do right now is picking Jalen Johnson to get an interception, just so you know.
I heard that. And Jalen Jones might be out this week too, so let's remember that.
Yes.
Either one, yeah.
So
Josh
be bold
Blackwell,
here, Kevin.
also on
Just
IR.
letting you know.
The drought ends. Dominique Robinson gets a quarterback hit.
Not even a sack?
I love how they didn't give him.
It could be a sack.
Why didn't he get that sack the other day?
I know. I felt so bad. Although Travis Gibson has his own drought to, end.
Well, I kind of appreciated that Gibson got it because, like, a lot of times you create the sack, but the other guy actually brings him down. I just thought it was interesting that they actually scored that. Gibson didn't touch him. He just created the sack.
At least
it was
split
interesting.
it. Give it to both of them. No, Dominique Robinson, the drought ends.
Okay. Wait, wasn't he the one who tackled him?
Yeah, but he didn't get credit for it.
No, I thought. Oh yeah, you're right. They get. Duh,
Yeah.
I just said that.
Yeah.
Okay, the drought's over. Fair enough. All right, here we go. Fox Noon, Vikings at Bears, 7.5. The John's listed this as the Bears being a 7.5 point favorite, which is obviously wrong.
I was tired last night.
So the Vikings are a 7.5 point favorite.
Yes. Vikings 27-10. That's it.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up, boys.
Yeah,
Vikings
John's has to go.
25.
No, not this podcast. This season.
Vikings 25. Bears 6. 25-6.
25-6. Yeah, I'm not optimistic about a touchdown either. I will say.
Oh, Nathan Peterman is going to deliver you one nice drive, and you're like, oh, that looked pretty good, and then that's it.
Probably not.
I'm going to say 17-6 because I actually think the Vikings kind of call off the guard here, start thinking about the playoffs, and take it easy in the second half. So I don't think it gets too out of hand. So 17-6.
Okay.
Actually, I take that back. 24-6. There's no way the Bears hold them under 20. 24-6.
My 25-6 included 2 safeties for the Vikings.
Wow. That's good. All right. Let's get to the other games here.
What question are you asking me?
We're only going to do a couple. Texans, Colts, noon, opposite Bears on CBS. Is this actually being shown opposite locally? Sometimes they do that.
That'd be cool.
Like the Vikings-Giants game on Christmas Eve was on the other TV at the same time. We should double check that. It'd be cool if you could have both games on. So Texans, Colts. The Colts are a 2.5 point favorite here.
I'm going with the Texans, which would secure the Bears the first overall pick, because I think the Colts are going to try to lose harder. I'm serious about this. I don't think tagging is a sensitive subject, but I just see Lovie Smith delivering a little bit more in this instance, like one last present for the Bears.
Even if they're both trying to win, I think the Colts are in a better place to win. I mean, last week was a clunker, but they've been playing better football. Lovie.
Wait, Colts or Texans? I got Texans. You saying Colts or Texans?
Oh, I meant to say Texans. I think the Texans are in a better place to win. The Colts are a mess right now. They're starting Sam Ehlinger. Lovie is, regardless of what he says, we know he's the type of coach that's going to try to win. I'm not even sure his job's 100% safe.
Well, that's kind of why I think the Texans win, because I love the idea of him sticking it to management almost.
There you go.
Getting that dub. By the way, according to my Xfinity app, noon Sunday CBS NFL game teams TBA.
Ooh,
it better be showing Colts, Texans.
I'm sure they already know that. Yeah, it's a game will be on at the same time as the Bears.
All right. So are you taking the Texans too?
Yes.
All right, so 2 words, Aaron Rodgers.
Hall of Fame. 2 words.
It's the best.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
All right, NBC 7:20 p.m. Lions at Packers. Packers are a 4.5-point favorite. The Lions, well, they're hoping to have something to play for, but thanks to the NFL's scheduling of all this, they might not. Seahawks could eliminate them in the late afternoon window by winning, which makes this one kind of tricky. I love the Lions to at least cover. I actually think they're better than the Packers right now. Despite what happened last week with the Packers over the Vikings, if this game's in Detroit, I'd be picking the Lions to win outright. But I just think it's too tough. It's in Green Bay. They might be eliminated earlier in the day. So it's a tough one to pick. I'm going to take Packers win, but Lions cover.
But are the Packers affected at all by the Seahawks?
No, the Packers just need to win and they're in.
All right, so this is what I like. Seahawks win, get in. But the Lions ruin the Packers' day with the upset win. That's what I want to see.
I do feel like if there's a coach and a team that can overcome the idea that they got eliminated right before kickoff
and rally to that point,
and just because everything Dan Campbell's been he could somehow still turn that into a Super Bowl game for the Lions. This is it. This is our last chance. Show that grit.
It'd be so wildly entertaining too. They would go at to extreme lengths to eliminate the Packers. I would love it. It would be so entertaining. That's the scenario I actually want in this.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. If the Seahawks lose, then they get to do that and still make the playoffs.
Okay, it's fine.
I'll be the Debbie Downer, and I think the Seahawks win, and I think Dan Campbell does his best, but in the end, these players know that they're not playing for anything, and I think that matters when you get into the second half. It's in Lambeau, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's cold, and I just think that at some point push comes to shove, and the Packers end up winning by 10.
Okay. What a Debbie Downer.
Go Bears.
Just burped into the mic.
Okay. Coffee burp right into the mic. There you go. What a way to end this podcast. We're out of here. Kev, thanks for being here today. It's good having you on for the whole show. Expect victory, baby. # expect victory. Kevin Fishbain in the house. Follow him on Twitter @KFishbain. You can follow us @Adam Hoge, @Adam Jahns. Read those guys on The Athletic, theathletic.com/Hoge Jahns, where you go to subscribe, get a great deal. You can find me at allchgo.com. Become a diehard there. Again, obviousshirts.com. All our merch. I believe those JD shirts are also back on sale right now. And then, of course, the DeMar Hamlin shirt that I'm wearing is available. If you'd like to get that, check it out. And, of course, all of those proceeds go to DeMar Hamlin's Toy Drive Fund. And all the proceeds from the JD shirts, too, also go to charity. So all for a great cause. Go check it out, obviousshirts.com. We are out of here. We'll be back Sunday for one last post-game show. And by then, we will know if the Bears have the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. We'll talk to you then.
See ya.